So last training, I have taught us how to.
Okay, next let's continue our training. This part is about the server technical based maintenance idea. So for this part, there are only about two parts. The first part is about troubleshooting ideas, and the second part is about troubleshooting and debugging. And here, yeah.
How we can see user.
Oh, hold on, let me check. So how about now?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And okay, now the first part is about the troubleshooting ideas. There are about 6 ideas. The basic principle of server failure troubleshooting, and if you want to prepare server to fix the server failure, what the information need to be connected, and precautions of server hardware maintenance, and on minimizing and restoring the factory configuration. One case, boot, power, no signature. Extrapolation, accessories, caused fault, can't be displayed. And here, so there is a question for all of you. If you want to fix or prepare server, so what information needs to be collected? So actually, the answer is listed on the on this material. So first, it's about the server information, like the server model, server number, bus version, and whether to add other parts, for example, the network card, memory, SCSI card, CPU, and other components. And hard driver configuration, like read and the read level and read schedules. And the operating system information is Windows or Linux and other version. And also the fault information. So what's wrong with the server at the post? Any abnormal information displayed on the screen, and the server indicator light is red, green, is blinking or stable, and the alarm sound, and any logs from OS or BMC, and be sure the fault types and fault phenomenon. Power with and display, a power but error on the post, on the screen, on the monitor, and in the installation process, the fault and the fault phenomenon, and operating system loading field or fault of system operation stage. So actually, most of the information mentioned just now are listed in our portal, in our ticket. So for example, the server model, server number, And what's wrong with the server? There is something wrong with one hard drive disk. So maybe you need to replace, or you need to check. And we also give you some suggestions, like collect the information, collect the logs from the OS or from the BMC. And here is the precautions of server hardware maintenance. So only after training and get the certification from this training, the technical can to do the maintenance. Otherwise, you need to keep learning and keep trying to pass the examination to get the certification from expert. And the power button on front of the server can turn off the AC input, but there's still HA servo current inside the server. Before you turn on power on the server, you have to unplug the power cable from the server and wait for at least 1 or 2 minutes to release all of the currency in the server. And external equipment like the network cable, a monitor, keyboard, and like this, and other electronic discharger and EXT protection measures. And you need to wear ESD protection or vest or other equipment to prevent the currency or voltage or any power to damage the parts, the servers, the equipment, especially the static. And about the chassis cover, for system cooling and the air circulation, before power on the system, chassis cover must be installed, because maybe there is a detection to check the chassis cover is installed or not. And it's also very easy to damage the server's components. And ensure that there is a short circuit between the chassis and the motherboard. Disconnect all cables that connected to motherboard, including keyboard and mouse and monitor, and remove any other 9-inch per board card. And sometimes you can install only one CPU, one memory, and sometimes it means that you need to minimize the configuration of the server to test to power on, and connecting the chassis speaker cables and power indicator LED connection to the motherboard, and check the jumper settings on the motherboard and other components are correct. And here is about the minimum configuration and restore the factory configuration. Encounter when you face complex problems. What can you do? And there is an easy way to find out the real problem with this server. For example, minimize the configuration of this server. One CPU, one memory. Maybe it depends on the feature of the server. Maybe you need to install 2 memories on the motherboard, and only one power supply. Don't connect the keyboards to the backplanes. Don't add any other cards like network card, real card, and the SIP module like this. Remove all of them and try to power on. If it works, so you can add more other parts like 2 CPU, more memories, and finally you will find which parts will influence the server's working, which part can make the server come to power on. And here there is a notice. Remove the non-inspect parts is very important. Why? There is a reason. Why? Because if the parts comes from third party, come from non-inspect, maybe there is some compatible issue. So it's a reason why we need to remove the non-inspect parts from inspect server. If there are incompatibilities to make the server come power on, but we still do some minimum configuration operation, so in this way we still can't find out the problem, the key point. And here is about the hard disk related failure. The hard disk is not recognized. It can't be shown in the read card. And maybe if you can see the hard drive in the read card or in the bus or in the system, but the sequence, the order is not correct in the OS. And boot self check and hard drive error. When detect hard drive occur error, smart error or disk RO error. Hard drive, the indicator of hard drive is turns to red, and a loss of hard drive frequently offline. Here you can't detect the hard drive, no matter from the read card or BIOS or the OS. You can follow the following aspects: resetting the hard drive power and data cables. Pay attention to whether the problem of poor connection. If you connect the cables to the hard drive or to the hard drive backplane not fixed, maybe maybe it will cause this problem. And second, try to replace the hard drive to the original slot can be detected. For example, you can't detect slot 1 hard drive in the read card, but you can recognize the hard drive in the slot 1. So you can swap the slot. You can swap the hard drive from 2 slot to slot 1, and then check to make sure you can see this hard drive from the read card. If you can, it means there is something wrong with the slot 2. But if you can't, it means maybe there is something wrong with this hard drive. And okay, next, the third phenomenon is number. Actually, is the order or the sequence or number of the hard drive can be detected is not correct in the read card. So what's that? Maybe there is something wrong with the BIOS of the read card or the firmware of the hard drive. So now you can collect the logs to analysis what's wrong with the read card or what's wrong with the hard drive, or maybe there is another situation is typical issue. Okay, the remaining two steps is two aspects is hard drive backplane issue or hard drive or the read card issue. And next, troubleshooting phenomenon is about boot without display. So, who can explain? The server can boot up, but without display. What's the meaning of the server can boot up, but without display? So, Adam, can you tell me what's the mean the server can boot up, but without display?
Can the display be disabled in the BIOS?
Pardon?
Can someone disable the display in the BIOS?
From the crash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So someone could have done that, or it could be a fault on the VGA port itself, or it could be the screen.
Yeah, actually, just now you mentioned the VGA. There is no any display on the monitor, and it's about display and about the boot. The server can boot up. Means maybe you can see the indicator of the server turns green, and the fan works. So boot.
I would probably log into the DNC and try viewing the console, and that would then prove whether it's actually booted.
But you also need to confirm the display and the actually the power supply indicator is also a good way.
Yeah.
So we can make a summary about the boot without display. First, boot means the indicator of the power supply units are normal, and the indicator of the hard drives works normal, and the indicator of the system is normal, and you can hear the fan rotating sounds. And but when you connect the monitor to the server, you can see nothing. There is no display from the monitor. But sometimes we need to make sure if there is something wrong with the monitor. If the monitor is bad, so there is also no display on the monitor, so I think we can replace another monitor. And if we change the monitor, still no display, we can remove the third-party card and clear the CMOS and remove all of the parts, like only leave one CPU, one memory or two memories on the motherboard, and one PSU. Actually, it's the idea of minimize configuration. So sometimes when the servers arrived on site, but there is no display, you can reset the memories. Reset all the memories. Maybe it works. But if it really doesn't work, so I think you can follow the steps to do this maintenance. And next phenomenon of typical issue is the server doesn't power up. No power on. No power on means no indicator. The indicator, there's no light from the indicator. So you need to make sure the PDU works normal. For example, there are 10 servers in one rack, and the first server can't power on, but the remaining servers can power on. So it means that the PDU, or maybe this slot of PDU doesn't work. So you can check with other, you can check to use other slots of the PDU, or you can change the power codes. But if it still doesn't work, so what should you do? Maybe you need to do, maybe there is something wrong with our server. So we can do we can to clear the CMOS, minimize the configuration, reset all the components, all the parts, memory, CPUs, and any cards. And also, maybe there is something wrong with the motherboard, but usually this phenomenon caused by PSU failure. So maybe there is something wrong with the power supply unit's backplane, or any other issues. And about the network related failures, actually this one is the most complex issue because network. So network means not only the network interface of Inspire server, it means also means the network cables, the switch, and maybe DHCP server. It's a network surrounding all the environment in the data center or in one rack. So normally we need to check the indicator of the internet network card normal or not. And maybe there is something wrong with the keyboard, so we can change this keyboard to other servers to check the keyboard is normal or not. And maybe there is some configuration wrong in the server. For example, when you connect the BMC interface with your laptop, but you can't reach the BMC. So maybe you misconfigured the IP address in the bus of the BMC. So you can go to BMC and to check the IP address for the BMC. It's also the same situation for the OS interface, a network interface. And maybe sometimes it's about the system. So find the system operator to check there is something wrong with this system. And actually, there are a lot of situations about network related failures, from the switch, cable, network interface, network card, configuration, OS, DHCP server, or custom environment. So for this network issue, I think you need to talk with the custom on-site guys, and also can let our technical team to support you to analyze what's the real problem with this network issue. Actually, from our experience, we faced a lot of network issues. Partial of them are caused by customer. For example, the DHCP server doesn't work, so the server can't get IP address, or there is something wrong with the switch port or the network cables, because switch, DHCP server, or the environment, or the OS, or the other things doesn't belong to Inspire. So we need to cooperate with the other team, especially the custom on-site guys, to fix this problem. So we can case by case to talk with the network related failures. So okay, this material is for the basic maintenance ideas, the process. So mainly we mentioned the network and the can power on and can power on but without display, and hard drive failures, and some troubleshooting ideas. So it's better to minimize the configuration of the server, can help you to find the real problem step by step. 你得休息会儿了。
没问题，包括刚才做实验的，没任何注意。
So actually it's a practice part. So do you have any questions about this part, and also do you have any questions about Mr. Tai showed you the practice part?
No questions, that's all good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So have a rest about 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.